She was looking down the whole entire time. She sat there, glanced at me, didn't say anything, didn't nod, just very cold.
On October 16th, 2013, Las Vegas mother Ashley Indico was visiting with her friend who lived in the apartment next door. She was venting about the tremendous stress she was under. She was 9 months pregnant and due to give birth in just a couple of days. On top of that, she and her husband were having some family issues in the home. Ashley and her friend said their goodbyes, and not even 20 minutes after Ashley left the apartment, her neighbor got a disturbing knock on the door that she would never forget. In 2013, Ashley Indico was living out her dreams. The 26-year-old was happily married to her husband Eris for 6 years, and they had 2 beautiful kids. Being a mother was Ashley's greatest joy, and everyone that knew her thought she was made for motherhood. She was so good at it. So, when the family announced they were pregnant with a 3rd child, there was nothing but pure happiness. They wanted a big family, and with their 3rd pregnancy, they were well on their way there. Eris had moved to the United States from the Philippines as a child, and one of the things he fell in love with Ashley for was her openness and love for his culture. She loved him for him and completely embraced everything about him and his family. In the summer that year, Eris told Ashley that his sister Eleanor had fallen on some hard times. He and Eleanor hadn't been very close in recent years. While she lived in Granada, California, he and his family lived in Las Vegas. They were super close as children, often saying all they had was each other. Eleanor had told Eris that she was in the process of losing her house and she desperately needed a place to stay. They wanted to help her out, and the kids absolutely adored her. So Eris drove to California and picked up Eleanor to bring her back to Vegas. This trip changed the course of their lives forever. After arriving home in Vegas, everyone was happy to see each other and catch up on lost time. Ashley and Eris had to sit down with Eleanor to discuss the living arrangements. They were glad that they could be there for her in a time of trouble, like she had been there for them. But they wanted her to know that because it was a small apartment with small children, they had some house rules. First, she had to get and keep a job in order to stay. Second, no drugs in the house. These rules were reasonable, and Eleanor agreed and was happy to be back with the kids. She had been the first person to hold both Alex and Annabelle when they were born, and she was there for all of the big moments.
This is Annabelle, my niece. You look so cute.
So to be staying with them was special. Eleanor and Eris were super close as kids, so they easily fell right back into their relationship. Ashley and Eleanor had a very sisterly-like relationship too. They would have great moments full of belly laughs and good times, as well as rough moments of fighting and yelling. They were both very strong personalities, so while that usually meant over-the-top fun, sometimes they would clash as well. Overall, things were smooth. Eleanor was working and would help around the house and with the kids. But sadly, the good times wouldn't last. After a few months, Eleanor lost her job and she didn't get another one. But the breaking point would come when Eris caught his sister with drugs in the house. It was the final straw. She had broken both of the rules and he couldn't look past it. With 2 small children and a pregnant wife in the home, there was no room for drug use. It was a hard thing to do, but Eris had the tough conversation with Eleanor, telling her she just had to leave. He gave her a week to gather her things and find another place. Of course, after the talk, tensions rose and gaps began to form in the once tight family. Ashley and Eleanor began fighting. Eris and Eleanor argued frequently as well. Everyone was on edge. There were daily disputes in the house. A small apartment with a pregnant woman, 2 small kids, and an unhappy sister who's been told it's her time to go. But everything was to come to an end by the 1-week deadline Eleanor received to move out. Friday, October 18th, 2013 was that day. She had to be out. Tragically, some members of the family wouldn't be there to see that happen. 2 days before, on Wednesday the 16th, Ashley went to the grocery store, leaving the kids napping at home with Eleanor. When she came home, she found Eleanor watching inappropriate TV in front of the kids. They fought about it, and Ashley called Eris afterwards, telling him,
I'm totally done with your sister. I'm 9 months pregnant, and I told her, calm down, sweetheart. We'll deal with this when I get home from work tonight.
they would never get the opportunity to do that. After getting off the phone with her husband, Ashley went to speak to her friend and next-door neighbor, Stephanie, for a few moments, venting about the stress that she was feeling. Before she returned home, she told Stephanie that she prayed Eleanor would just leave already and not wait until the last day. However, not even 20 minutes later, the neighbor received a knock on her door she never imagined could happen. She opened her door to find 5-year-old Alex asking for help, saying his mom was bleeding, and she was horrified to see Alex's hands were covered in blood. She quickly brought Alex inside her apartment and went next door to see what was going on. When she tried to open the door, it was unlocked, but appeared to be barricaded shut, and Eleanor was screaming at her to get the expletive out of here. Stephanie then heard what she described as Eleanor moaning in pleasure. The police quickly arrived after receiving a 911 call from Eleanor. When she finally opened the door for police, the apartment was blood-soaked. Eleanor had barricaded herself in the bathroom with 3-year-old Annabelle. Police immediately saw Ashley lying on the floor, and it was clear she had been on the receiving end of a brutal attack. Eleanor quickly crafted a story that she acted in self-defense, and she was taken to a nearby hospital after showing police 2 stab wounds she had to her stomach. But sadly for Ashley and her unborn child, they were pronounced dead from multiple stab wounds. Thankfully, both children were physically unharmed, but they had witnessed the brutal killing of their mother in their own home, so the scars of that experience will undoubtedly stay with them. When police later questioned Eleanor, she gave a story that painted herself as the victim. Despite her stab wounds being mostly superficial, she told police that Ashley went, quote, stab crazy and came at her with a knife. But not just any knife, Eleanor's prized Chinese fighting knife with 4-inch blades on both sides. Police had found the knife on the floor between Ashley's legs. Police were skeptical of Eleanor's claims. It didn't make sense to anyone who knew the woman. Ashley was due to give birth in a few days. Why would she try to stab Eleanor, who was trained in martial arts, in her own home, in front of her own children? Eleanor would be arrested for the murder of Ashley Indico. Her bond was set at $120,000, and she stuck to her claim of self-defense. Eris did not buy this story in the slightest. He said many times that he doesn't believe she's even sorry, but their mother did stand behind Eleanor. She was obviously in a tough spot with one child who destroyed her other child's family. But things would begin to get patched up in the family in the most unexpected of ways. Before the trial had concluded, Eris, who was of course devastated at the loss of Ashley and their unborn baby, well, he had already found another woman for support in such a difficult time, and that woman was Ashley's own sister. Crazy twist that I was not expecting, but they say the grief brought them closer together, and they were even presenting as a couple at Eleanor's sentencing on June 26, 2018, when she was given life with the possibility of parole after 25 years for murder, manslaughter of an unborn child, and abuse, neglect, or endangerment. Eleanor would tell the court she was sorry and was ready to take responsibility for what she'd done. It is the right thing to say, but it doesn't bring back Ashley or the baby. Eris said he still loves Eleanor, but that because she took 2 lives from him, he said he wished that she got life without parole or a death sentence. Although she's reached out to him, he refuses to respond until she can show him that she's truly sorry for what she did. After Eris got involved with Ashley's sister, they went on to have their own child. Let me know in the comments what you think about this, because for me, that part was really weird. I know grief is unique to everyone, but that just doesn't sit well with me. Ashley's 2 kids were so brave. Annabelle even spoke out after her sentencing about how she feels about her aunt, and it was truly heartbreaking.
I would forgive her from what she's done, but it really hurt my feelings that she did that to my mom.
Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and I will see you in the next one.